Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we'll be talking about NBA expansion. I know this is something we've talked about regularly, and I think one of the things that we like to do here is the reporting that has been released of the NBA expansion as it slowly is dripping out of the news faucet. Now, this one is coming. I just want to make sure that we get this correct in terms of who put out this report. But what we'll talk about is they're going to start the process this summer. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you guys think it's Las Vegas and Seattle? I've said this since the beginning. From what I've been told, from what I've read through the lines, Seattle is the guaranteed 31st franchise. They retain it. Key Arena has been renovated, and we'd assume Jeff Bezos or another Seattle billionaire will bring back the Supersonics, because that is the one franchise that if you're from Seattle or Washington and you want to be the coolest cat around for forever, it's being the rich guy who brought the Supersonics back. Now, I think, and I've floated this out as someone who goes to Las Vegas for NBA Summer League every year, the last 2 years, this will be third year, and spends over a week there. Even though last year we cut it a little bit, it was a little bit longer, but that was because of Team USA, and this year it'll probably be 8 days. Either way, I have talked with you, and we're also seeing what's happening with the athletics and just gambling and stuff. And I'm not saying gambling is going away now. There's too much money invested in that. But what I am getting at is, would it be possible that the next franchise isn't in Las Vegas, but maybe Kansas City? Because I do think that's possible. And that is because of some of the constraints that come with Las Vegas. And that's them being fair weather fans and not actual fans of teams per se, in the same way other franchises have. So you're seeing the Raiders, and you're seeing, I mean, the Knights are an exception, personally, I think, because of like how the expansion draft allowed them to get an overpowered roster, and they were just way better. They basically were contenders within their first season. So the NBA just wrapped up that 11-year media rights deal, which they wanted to do. They are figuring out NBA Europe, and they just saw the Celtics sell for $6.1 billion, which we do know that it was a struggle to find someone to buy $6 billion. And I've said this before, at some point, there is not infinite money in this world. Will the costs of the franchises forever go up? Yeah, that's inflation. But they're actually not getting more expensive. If anything, things are going to flatline and start going down. People are less interested in sports. Sports aren't the best investment. And if you're really buying a sports team, which there's only an X amount of people who are going to want that, especially if you put the restraints that the NBA has in them, it's going to be hard to sell a team for $6 billion. And from what I remember, the NBA lost like $7 or $8 billion due to COVID, and they wanted to sell each expansion franchise for $1 billion more than what they sold the last team before that. So you're assuming they're trying to ask for 7, at the very least 6. And Commissioner Adam Silver has long held back on talks of a new team, says it's too many distractions. But with CBA done and the guaranteed TV revenue for the next decade, the league has the financial certainty it needs the model adding 2 franchises. So CBA signed, media deal locked in, comes into effect next year, summer of 2025. Maybe we can see expansion. I've always said I don't expect someone to start playing until 2030. They said 2028 6 months ago, and I think that might be a little bit rushed. Obviously, expansion means selling equity in the league. Right now, 30 team owners share broadcast, sponsorship dollars. Bring in 2 more, everyone's slice shrinks a little bit. So the expansion fees must justify that dilution. The $6.1 billion valuation sets the floor, expects fees north of $6 billion per team. And I think that's interesting, because with roughly 450 roster spots in the NBA, adding 30 more players will bring in more talent. Now, obviously, people are going to be like, well, they'll dilute the talent. I think what will dilute is stars all being able to team up like that because there'll be more teams willing to pay players. And the new modeling will also create more jobs in the G League pipelines. We'll have, obviously, some tweaks in the draft, I believe, because the lottery, does that go out to 16 now or to 15? And we do know Las Vegas and Seattle are on the top of that list. And the thing that keeps Vegas in the conversation is the sponsorships. While Seattle, we already know that legacy is strong. I think keeping an eye on Kansas City, it's a lower cost alternative, ready to pounce if Vegas price tag gets too steep or just can't figure it out. KC, why? They have the College Basketball Hall of Fame and the T-Mobile Arena. Guess who owns that area across the street called Power and Live, AEG, Anschutz Entertainment Group, the minority owners of the Lakers and the owners of the Crypto.com Arena Staples Center. So to me, right there, I'm like looking, oh, an NBA owner already has. Also, by the way, the Koch brothers bought part of the Nets this past year, minority stake. Again, the Koch brothers, Anschutz Entertainment Group, Patrick Mahomes, bunch of people there would like, because what it would do is the Chiefs are more than likely going to move to Kansas City, Kansas, to this area called Legends Outlet. And there's the Hollywood Speedway or Hollywood Casino next to the Kansas Speedway. And there's KC Sporting there. And there's a huge plot of land. And there's a Great Wolf Lodge. And there's an outlet mall right there. You put the next Chiefs Stadium right there. It's an entertainment district now. And then that allows the Royals to move across the street from or in the same like vicinity as the T-Mobile Arena. And then now you have that in a few block radius, or I think a block radius, a baseball arena, or a baseball stadium, a basketball arena, and Power and Live, which is like, if you guys don't have those, they're all across the country. Like they're usually like Power and Live or Power and Rams Head Live or something like that, depending where you are. They're all the same. They're just like these bars that have consistent music. Power and Live is more of a country bar, but that's the whole gist of it, is that like there's ways for this all to, I think, work out. As I really believe Kansas City gives you a whole market of Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Arkansas, even parts of Oklahoma that are too far from OKC, that is closer to go to Kansas to get people. Because I remember when I did my alma mater at Kansas. Now I'm at Miami, but we would every year when NBA League Pass would start up, they would make you like choose your team, and you had the option of OKC or Denver. And basically, that was the blackout you got. And was it Chicago? And that was another thing. When you meet people out there, you ask them who their fan was, and you usually knew that they were either a Thunder fan, a Bulls fan, or a Nuggets fan, the occasional T-Wolves fan. But those are like the four teams in that area that you cheer for. So there's a huge market there, in my opinion. It's a big area, but it's worth it.